Well, my business is Selina Physiotherapy, so I am a chartered physiotherapist. So my original degree will be an honours science degree. So that's my original background, and then from there, I suppose our training is quite medical based initially. I qualified from the Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen, and then worked in the NHS as a rotational physiotherapist. So you get a little bit of everything, rotating through all the different specialities, because it's a really broad career. And from there I moved into a senior role in kind of what you would consider just outpatient work in primary care, and worked part-time then in some private practices as well. So from there I kind of had a good background, a broad-based experience, and decided it was time to, Ireland was calling, move back home, and kind of saw an opportunity that was available for a physiotherapy clinic in Carrick and Shannon Pilates studio, and came back in 2010 and got things underway and got up and running by autumn 2010.
Well done, great.
So,
and what's your best advice for women in startup? What were the issues that you faced and how did you overcome them?
I suppose looking back, I was so young when I started. I was so naive, probably a good thing, because I probably found the last few years more challenging than the initial few years. Yeah, just with the way I suppose my life has gone more than anything else. So I went feet first into it, probably not really anticipating exactly all of what it was involved, but like that it probably didn't scare me off too much. But I think now my work and my life has changed a huge amount over the last 3 to 4 years, and I think that's made me reevaluate things a lot more and consider a lot more how I work and how a business should operate functionality wise. So
you're doing some very interesting things in your sector, so you have some interesting ideas, and you were a finalist in the Young Entrepreneur.
Yes, this time last year, yes.
Tell us a little bit
Well,
about those plans.
one of the projects from that is my super seniors class. So it's targeting the population of our senior population in the society, which is growing exponentially, and it's just, there's a real gap there, probably from my own experience seeing patients coming in, that they're really reluctant to go to the gym, or they're really reluctant to join classes, and they're the population who need the exercise and need that physical well-being more than anybody else really. And there's a huge gap in people's knowledge and what exercises were safe to do at certain age groups as well, and especially for women, looking after their bone density. So I kind of thought from there, there's just nobody doing this, and it's one of the stumbling blocks that I would come up against rehabilitating my patients all of the time. So I said, okay, well, let's get it going myself. So we started this exercise program. So it's we kind of not limited, but we started at an over 50s, and our eldest client is 84. So we do all sorts of things within the class, a lot of strength-based, a lot of weight-based training, teaching them about falls management, getting up off the floor if they're injured, and just lots of practical advice as well about different condition management, be it diabetes, osteoporosis, arthritic conditions, the general, yeah. So I'm looking to move that on. I've spent a lot of time over the last year developing the IT skills and the IT change and all of that within the clinic, with the view to maybe moving this more to an online platform. So you can go online and you can see any type of Pilates class, yoga class, exercise, whatever you want to lose weight and everything, but there's nothing for that population that, like I say, really need it. That's when you start to become more sedentary and all the health problems start to kick in. So I'm looking at moving from the exercise, from the kind of 2-hour program that we do on a weekly basis, to moving that to an online program that people can sign up to.
Brilliant. Tell us a little bit about your own support network as being a woman business.
Yeah, so my support network, I suppose, from a professional point of view, I'd be a member of quite a few physiotherapy groups, particularly those aimed at people in private practice. And they can be anything from conferences to online forums, and especially with online things, the more kind of you put into it, the more you'll get back from it as well. With being in the competition last year, I have an increased kind of link now with the Leitrim Enterprise Office as well, and I think that's something, hopefully with moving things on to the online business, that I'll definitely be linking in with a lot more.
Brilliant. And just what motivates you? What gets you excited about your business and the plans for the future?
Well, I suppose the fact I love my job, for starters, so I've always wanted to work in that kind of sector, and there's always, like, the technology is moving on all the time, with different surgical procedures that patients can undergo, and things that were like revolutionary 5 years ago are now becoming mainstream medicine. So you can always keep up to date with those things, and the technology side of things is just pushing on, and the world of physio is changing a lot as well in line with that. So
And the world of business, I mean, how do you find actually running, the mechanics of running a business?
Yeah, that's been a steep learning curve because, you know, I trained to be a physio, I didn't train to be a business person. And like I said before, I had kids and I had all the time in the world to be in clinic for as many hours a week as I wanted to be. I could afford to do that. But now that my life is different with small kids, it's like, okay, you can't be there all the time. So I really had to think about making the time that I could spend at work as efficient and as productive as possible. So I've made a lot of changes in the last year, and to try and improve that functionality and move to as many automated systems as I can to make the day-to-day running.
Help your business become more scalable.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
automated
Yeah. Do you know, probably before I got involved in the competition last year, I was a bit overwhelmed by everything, and I just didn't know where to go next. I knew where I wanted to be, but I didn't know how to get there. So I learned a huge amount from that and realised, well, actually there are people there who know how to help you with those things. You don't have to know everything yourself.